I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, he is. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out.
He's steaming mad.
He is out.
Swung. Fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! 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 The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. It's caught on the run. He's going to score. David Wagner. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
It's good.
It's good!
Van Tippen has won the ball game.
Alabama has beaten Auburn!
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.
Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of the Total Chad Sports Podcast. We're at number 110 on the list, and it's great to be back, but it's also going to be a very difficult start of the season as we're back in the job world. We are back doing campus security for my alma mater, and granted, it's not the job I've always wanted. But it has given me a lot of opportunities to be able to coach again, to be able to help a lot of the youth in my community, which I was doing before with the radio job. It's definitely something that I do enjoy. The kids really do appreciate the job that I do there. And a lot of them like to say, like, hey, what's up? Great to see you. I'm glad you're back, blah, 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 blah. Even the teachers are all excited to see a lot of the same faces as well. There's a lot of turnover. A lot of people didn't come back, or a lot of people didn't get asked back, or, some people went on to, a better job or moved away or something like that. A lot of people retired. So it's going to be a whole new bunch of fresh faces. Also a bunch of fresh new faces, a bunch of kids that are coming in too. So it's going to be a wild and crazy, next couple of months. Because obviously, we're like 3 or 4 weeks away from high school football. We're about, 5-6 weeks away from college football. We're about 6 or 7 weeks away from NFL football. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. So we're just trying to get in as many podcasts as we can because we know how difficult it's going to be. To try to get him in. I tried to do one last night. I promise. I tried my hardest to do one last night, and it just didn't happen. I was so tired. I just felt like I needed to rest, and just like really, it was just kind of like, like I just couldn't. Like I tried. I promise you, I tried. It was so tiring. It was just like, oh my gosh, I can't get myself to get set up and have everything, coordinated and kind of like set up what I'm going to talk about. And I got tired. Plus I had therapy yesterday. So we went through that as well. So like, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I just can't do it. And it's going to be difficult, especially when football season starts. We're going to try to get a lot in. We would love to get a lot in. But if we have the opportunity, which I think we are going to have the opportunity to be able to get opportunities to go to Auburn and do a lot of coverage, or maybe, do some Total Chad Sports Podcast on site at Jordan-Hare. As I've actually been asked to do, or I got a credential request for the Baylor game against Auburn. And there's no way in hell that I have, one, the capital, the time, the effort, all of those types of things to actually fly or drive, because driving would be ridiculous, but to fly to Waco and actually see Auburn play Baylor, because that's probably not going to happen. Like, we can just go ahead and say I'm probably not going to get a credential for that game because it's just going to be absolutely insane for me to even try. Now, they do play Ball State the following week. Of course, August 29th, they'll play Baylor at Baylor. The September 6th, they'll play Ball State. That game's at 6:40 or 6:30 at night. And so we don't know if we're actually going to see that one or not. Like, we don't know if that's going to happen either because that's a 3.5-hour drive from the house. The game's at 6:30. The game wouldn't end until probably 10. I wouldn't get home until probably 2 or 3 in the morning. Now, they do play South Alabama for homecoming at 11:45, week 3, September 13th. And then they go on the road to Oklahoma. They go to Texas A&M. Then they come back on October 11th and play Georgia. Now, that could be a 2:30 game, or that could also be like a 5:30, 6:30 game. So we don't know what the Auburn-Oklahoma game will be because that's still to be announced. But there is an opportunity to possibly go to, I'm sure I could go to the Ball State game if I got myself up and ready to do it. I mean, I'd have the whole Saturday to do it, but that would be a crappy turnaround and drive on Sunday night. But they do play South Alabama at 11:45, and I could get up super early, go to the game, and then get home around 6 on Saturday, and it'd be a lot better opportunity. Now, they do play Georgia at home later, Missouri at home later. They play Arkansas on the road. They come back and play Kentucky November 1st at home. Then they go away again. They play Vanderbilt. I could go possibly to the Vanderbilt game, and I've actually wanted to do that because Diego Pavia will be playing quarterback, and, you know, obviously, hopefully he'll still be healthy by then. It could be a really good game. One of these teams could be really, really bad, and one of these teams could be pretty mediocre and, you know, could be, you know, top 10 in the SEC. Now, granted, I'd put Auburn right there on the edge, right on that cusp of the top 10 in my standings, of course. And you can also kind of check that out if you want by going to my profile. And if you know that we constantly update every single time, that you can go to my profile. And I had Auburn at number 10. I had Auburn at number 10. Would Vanderbilt be number 13 by then, or could these be flip-flopped? Could these possibly be flip-flopped? We don't know. We'll have to see by then because that is a long way away. And so they do play Mercer at home. Then they get Alabama, the Iron Bowl, November 29th. I'm already going to go ahead and circle that on the calendar. I'm going to go ahead and already tell Coach, hey, you're not going to have me that Saturday. Sorry, I'm going to the Iron Bowl. I'm going to be able to get, if I'm already getting credential lists, I'm getting away games in Waco, Texas. I should be able to get a credential to the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn on the 29th. So we're going to try to do a live podcast deal. We could do it from the phone. We could just do some stuff on YouTube and go live, or we could go on TikTok and go live. So go to youtube.com/@CoachGrizzleTV or go to twitch.tv/CoachGrizzle because we always could do a live video from Twitch on the phone. But I feel like I'd do better off if I try to just stream from the phone and do like a live TikTok or a live YouTube. So go to TikTok @CoachGrizzle. You can find me there too. And we'll try to do a live podcast. We'll ask some questions. We'll just kind of sit somewhere on campus and break it down. Whoever wants to join, you're more than welcome to. So we're either going to go to the Ball State game on September 6th, or we're going to go to the South Alabama game on September 13th. And it's probably going to be the South Alabama game. It would be a lot easier to be able to do a podcast after the Ball State game, but I think what we might do is, so to kind of decompress before we drive back, we'll do about 30 minutes to an hour of my reaction to the South Alabama Auburn game, and of course it'll be the homecoming game. So we could always do that too. But we do have Georgia Auburn on October 11th, so we could possibly do a bunch of Total Chat Sports Podcast live from Jordan Hare, live from Auburn, Alabama, on the plains, because it's crazy. Growing up an Alabama fan, you would never think that the Auburn Tigers would be the university that is going to continue to let you live out your dream and let you continue to push for something more and just create your own content and be able to talk whatever you want to talk about. That's why we have the live chat. That's why you're more than welcome to join it. If you want to fund any of this journey, remember, you can always subscribe on Twitch, $5.99 a month subscription, or you can donate to the channel. Cash App, $ Coach Grizzle, or Venmo at Mass Braves. It's not hard. Steele's a subscriber. Yorkie's a subscriber. Hark is a subscriber. I mean, we've got subscriptions. You can see the goal on the bottom of the Twitch screen. If you're watching on Twitch, there's a follower / I think there's a sub goal too, right? Or is it just a follower goal? We might have to add the sub goal too, but we can do that. That's an option. So but the thing is I don't ask for a ton of donations, like, right? I just say, hey, if you want to, you're more than welcome to. If you want to donate to, like, let's say the Greater Humane Society in your area or in my area, or you want to donate and help out with the Walked In and Alzheimer's, two big charities that I love to help out with. I go to the Three Tails resale store that is here locally, and it's where I find new toys for the baby girl, Ladybird. It's where I find new toys for the Ladybird. All right, she's sleeping. And it's where all the proceeds, all the money goes back into a lot of the care, the food, the medicine, everything, checkups, getting a vet out there to do discounted shots and everything every month for every, like, second Saturday of the month there locally. So they try to do that as well. It's actually where she got her shots too. They do a great job. And they try to get everybody in. They try not to turn everybody away, but they can only do so many. And so, like, if you don't get there early, or if you don't get there, before a lot of people, and if you think going early is not going early, you should go earlier, because it's a great cause. It's a great charity. They do great things around the area, like fostering. Also, it helps fostering certain dogs, litters, everything like that my mom and dad do. My little brother helps out with as well. So it's definitely something, and even with the walked in Alzheimer's, it's one of those charities that, like, it hits home. You know somebody, you've met somebody, you have a friend that has somebody in their family maybe that has it, or you're just a bystander that just wants to help. There's a lot of ways to do that as well. You can either donate, you can just show up when they do the walked in Alzheimer's, listen to a lot of the good information that they talk about when it comes to how to handle it as a family, and how to handle it if you feel like that it's getting to the point where it's really overcoming you, and it's making it depressing, and and you can see it. Like, I see it in a lot of my family too. I've seen it for many years through my mom, through my aunt, through my grandmother, through my grandfather, the way that she handled it, and the way he's handling it now. So there's a lot of situations when it comes to that. So it's two huge charities, like I said, that I'm proud to be able to create awareness. But also, if I'm able to donate some money, I will. And if somebody does donate and says, hey, do this, I might match it. So then we add more, and it'll go towards even more. So, sorry, there's like a really bad, like, there's not food here, but there's like really bad gnat problem. It's muggy and hot outside. So, like, if I'm sitting there trying to swat something, there's something there. I promise. I'm not going crazy. But what I'm not crazy about, and we'll get into this, we're going to talk a lot about, we're going to talk baseball today. We're going to talk some football today. We're going to give my reaction to the first padded if I can do it, alliteration. First padded practice for the Atlanta Falcons, and some stuff that was said around some of the press conferences that I listened to with Raheem Morris and Michael Penix Jr., things they said, things that they looked at, things that happened over the weekend that we didn't talk about, and things that may have happened or almost happened during this practice as well, because it's going to be heated. It's going to be hot. It's going to be electrifying. People are going to bark at each other. People are going to want to do more. People are going to want to hit harder because they're in pads. And it's great to see what they're able to do, because, like, in the NFL, it's not like kind of in high school and really college, where, I mean, even college now, it's not that many padded practices, especially in the NFL. And it's like they don't want to hurt their babies, and they can only have so many padded practices. And guys don't really hit. And so that's the reason why it's like guys just get obliterated that first couple of weeks, or guys get hurt because they're not used to getting hit or they're not used to hitting. And it trickles all the way down. I mean, I had a buddy talk about he wanted his son to play. It was yesterday. It was my coworker. He wanted his son saying that he wants to play football. He's 8 years old. And I told him, no, don't play tackle. Go play flag until he's in middle school. Then go play tackle. Because it would suck. Because a lot of these kids could get a concussion at such a young age. Why risk it at 8 years old? Then try to see if they can do it when they're older. And a lot of these kids that are bigger, that are younger, they're younger, but they're bigger, they have to play the line. And there's that consistent head juggling around. There's that constant unnecessary hits. There's the really bad technique because it's not taught, because it's someone's daddy or it's somebody's uncle or somebody's like weird cousin that's out there teaching them how to not tackle the proper way. So there's a lot of that goes on. And really, I mean, it's much better to try to, I'm not saying risk it, but just to try to say, okay, well, if he goes and does it at a young age, he has that risk to have all these concussions before he's even in 6th, 7th grade, right? So if you at least wait until they're in 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, I would think, maybe definitely 8th grade, see if they're able to do it, see if they're even big enough to play football. I was 125 pounds, okay, soaking wet through most of high school. I never should have played football. I probably should have stuck with baseball. I probably should have maybe played soccer because I was actually pretty good at those two sports. But I liked playing football, and I liked playing football with my friends, so I played football. And I did wrestling, and I absolutely enjoyed wrestling, and that's what I'm going to continue to help out with this year. We got a new head coach. We'll try to get that talked about in a couple of weeks. Maybe we'll get him on. I really want to get Coach Harper on, too, because we're only like 3 or 4 weeks away from high school football, and I know on the 22nd, my alma mater's playing the head coach of my alma mater now. They're playing his former team. And I've heard nothing but smack talk, want to beat that team, because they beat them. My alma mater beat them 41-6 last year, and he was on the other team. So what's going to happen this time around, as he's the head coach of the alma mater, and he's taking on a team that's tasting blood. I mean, they want to win that game, and they want to win that game big, and they want to show that, like, hey, we're much better. So we'll see how that goes too. Maybe we'll break down the schedule for that. We don't know if we're going to do that now. I don't know how much time we'll get into that. I really didn't want to go too super crazy long. I wanted to make this podcast about under 2 hours. I wanted to at least keep it at that. We've been doing it pretty consistently. Because it's not really hard to sit here and ramble and sit here and talk about certain things and discuss certain things in the sports world under 2 hours. If you come in with things to talk about and you actually do your research and you don't just do it 15, 30 minutes beforehand, you won't look like a moron. And you'll at least have some things to talk about. And you'll at least actually look like you're somewhat professional. I do this as a hobby. This is a hobby. I have a job. I can't do this for a living. I'm not making the big bucks doing this. I'm making the big bucks doing my real job. So I do this as a hobby, and I do this because I know there's people out there that are going to constantly support the stream, like a Steele, like a Hart, like a Kuda, like a Joe, like a Red, like so many people, like a Haley, like so many people, the family, friends, everything like that are going to constantly push for something that's keeping me on here and letting me have this platform to be able to talk sports and be able to talk about what I want to talk about. But we also give you, that's what we talked about this many times, we also have the chat right here to give you an opportunity to be a part of the podcast. It's not just about me. It's about the people out there that when we get to the point where the chat's just sitting there rolling in and I can only read like every third one, I think we're doing something right because we have a lot of people that are involved in the chat. And you can sit here and have conversations with people in the chat as long as they're good, because we'll have moderators that are in there constantly looking for the shitheads of the world. And that's the reason why we thank Head of Steel so much, because he has been nothing but great support throughout this entire thing. He's a great buddy to play Sea of Thieves with. He's a great buddy to play Battlefield with. And I'm sure he's excited for the Battlefield 6 beta. Right. Hopefully it's not unplayable, choppy garbage like 2042 is. I literally tried to download the game I had so much space and everything. I have a better graphics card. I tried to play the game and re-download it, and it's such crap. It's such crap. But when your mod is a shithead, now that's a different story. Now, hopefully Battlefield 6 is really good, buddy. I hope it's good. They're trying to go back to the Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 days. But there's already people crapping on it after watching some gameplay. So there's a lot of bad things, and people are trying to compare it to Call of Duty. But then there's like people going back and saying, well, there's no Ninja Turtles or Cardi B or Nicki Minaj running around, flying around, and doing stupid crap. It did, but didn't 2042 do the same thing? And everyone was like, oh my God, people can jump out of planes and rocket launcher people and then jump right back in the planes again. And then it was just dog shit. And then they're going to bring back a battle royale. They didn't learn. The battle royale for Battlefield 5 was garbage. And then now they're going to bring it back again. And they're going to get embarrassed by Call of Duty again. And then people are saying that it looks like Call of Duty. Did you know there's a Grounded 2 coming out? So screw Battlefield. We're waiting for when Grounded 2 comes out. We're going to play enough RuneScape right now that we're just going to wait for Grounded 2 to come out. No, I don't think it did have the same vibe trying to sell Tornado. Right, the weather and all that stuff. And the crazy thing about it, every time I try to play it on Steam, you had to have like Windows 11, top shit computer to even play the garbage. I had it on lowest settings, and I couldn't play 2 minutes of it without it being so slow, picking up my gun, firing rounds, getting killed and not being able to see anybody because it's so slow. But every time I played it on the Game Pass, it worked. It had no problems. I played on cloud, there was no issues. Because it wasn't Xbox One or the XS or whatever the hell it's called. It was still on the Xbox One or whatever. And now they're not even going to have Battlefield 6 on the older consoles. They're only going to be on the newer ones, right? So how bad is it really going to be? I hope it's not. Just like I haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2. I hope it's not bad. People say it's pretty funny. People say it's got all the nostalgia feel and blah, 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 blah. But it's like I'm skeptical. But the thing is if I have an opinion on it, you're going to have these shitheads of the world on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, that are mad at me because I haven't seen it yet, and I don't have Netflix. I have Hulu. I haven't seen Happy Gilmore 2. Happy Gilmore 2 isn't awful, ... Exactly. You don't want to give your full opinion on it, but you can't tell me that this movie is, well, Rotten Tomatoes is garbage anyway. But you can't tell me that the Rotten Tomatoes, like the rate on it is better than the original. Because you couldn't take the original today and recreate it. You have to make crappy sequels. It's like trying to make Waterboy 2. Like, you can't do that. It's like making Billy Madison 2. You can't do the same humor like you could in all these other ones. And I just don't know if I want to watch it. I feel like it's like a cash grab. Happy Gilmore 2, Battlefield 5, 2042, they were all cash grabs, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, some people love the nostalgia feel or they enjoyed some of the game or whatever. But it just wasn't as good as the original. Everyone keeps talking about how bad this game looks comparable to how we had it made. We had it made, Rick Shade. We had it made, Steel. Playing Battlefield 3, playing Battlefield 4, I liked Battlefield 5. The game as a whole was fun. Battlefield 1. Battlefield 5 was still a fun game to me. But it doesn't match 3, 4, and 1. It just doesn't. And nothing really compares to Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 is just an absolute classic. Shout out to Rick Shade for being here. The Rick Shades of the world. Guy I've known for a long time from the Fix fam. I don't really watch Fixie anymore. Just hadn't had the time. He's always at he's either streaming in the morning or he's playing recaps of stuff in the afternoon, and I'm just never there. Guy that I do watch, though, when I can have the time, and when he does stream, is Rick Shade. Guy that gave me Delta Force and gave me a playable code. Is that game still around? Do people still play that game? Is that out yet? We still anticipating that to release? Is that a thing? Is it going to release when GTA 6 comes out? Yeah, it's coming to console next month. See, but that's the thing. It's I would love to play it. But I get so caught up in other things. And what we were getting at earlier, when it's 2042 is choppy bullshit on my computer, but it's better on the console version if you play it from the cloud. And it doesn't have any problems, but I can't play with my boy Steel here because it's on the cloud. And he's on the Xbox. But it's I play Hell Let Loose. A way more beautiful game. Way more stuff going on. I play it on the lowest settings. I have no problems. I don't understand it. I can play Call of Duty. Basic ass settings. Game works way more better. The game works better than Battlefield 2042 does. And I don't get it. I can put Battlefield 2042 on the lowest settings, and it's I'm rubber banding my internet's bad or something. But it's the game. It's just, I don't get it. I don't understand what I have to do differently. It's get a better computer. Why do all these more beautiful games do better than a game that's only been out for a few years now? And Rick Shea does play the game, so I love his take on Battlefield 2042. Because we know that it's just one of those games that I apparently cannot play on my computer. But I can play it on the cloud. No issues. So, we're getting into the Braves game. Because they actually got a win yesterday after getting swept by the Rangers. It was basically elder abuse, not Bryce Elder, but it was basically old man abuse. Because old ass 40-something-year-old Rich Hill was on the mound. And started off really good. But they ended up getting the win. They were 16 games under 500. Now they're 15 games under 500. Going up against the Royals in the second game. Down 4-0. They have all of these pitchers that no one's ever heard about that are in I wouldn't say the starting rotation. Because these obviously, if any other team lost 4 of your starters to injuries, you would be having the same issues the Atlanta Braves are having. Another thing is, it's if you go through changing your entire coaching, most of your coaching staff, and your third base coach, and your first base coach, who really shouldn't even be a coach, in my opinion, and is a terrible hitting coach, you probably will have situations like that. Judge is out, Aaron Judge is out. I saw there was it a leg thing? Because I saw him limping. Was it a quad or something? Or what, was it a calf? I saw him try to go for a ball and he kind of limped. But I didn't know if he was totally out. You have a situation with Grant Holmes, a.k.a. Kenny Powers, a.k.a. Wild Bill Hickok from, who's the dude? Who's the dude abides? What's the dude from The Big Lebowski? What's that guy's name? When he played Wild Bill in that movie? Literally looks like Wild Bill. Go look up Wild Bill, the movie. Who was that guy's name? Who's the guy that played The Big Lebowski? Grant Holmes might have a UCL tear. Could be out for 2 years. Gonna be a real bad thing. guy that really was floating around for a long time, reliever. And then they start him this year to be kind of like that fifth guy. And then he gets hurt because now he's being pressed into being the guy now. And I listened today to 680 The Fan talk about if this was the most disappointing team. I would say yes. Comparable to teams that like didn't make the playoffs, or you wouldn't really necessarily say the team. I mean, the whole 90s really wasn't a disappointment. The run that they went on, 14 division titles in a row, all those types of things, only getting one World Series out of it. It's kind of happening now. And they kind of it's kind of been a joke where they've won in 2021 and haven't really done anything since. But they were talking about like the rotation and just how bad this team was. And it's like, well, this team was bad. The Baby Braves were bad. 2010 was bad. 2013 was bad. Really, all the 2010s were pretty bad for the Braves until Ronald Acuna showed up in 2018, took the world by storm, and is still one of the best players in baseball. So really, it wasn't. I mean, and the thing about 2021 is you had injuries all through 2021 as well. But the Braves were able to still score runs. Everyone, and they kept talking about the rotation. You got Eric Fetty, who's on the mound right now. You got Spencer Strider, who technically is the ace right now. Really should be the ace, but you've got Chris Sale, who's a Cy Young winner. You got Spencer Schwellenbach, young and up and coming. AJ Smith-Shawver, young and up and coming. Grant Holmes hurt. You got all these situations where you're kind of like, well, shit. Now you got Spencer Strider, Eric Fetty, Bryce Elder, maybe Dylan Dodd occasionally. You got Joey Wentz, who really, I mean, in his short time did really well against the Yankees and then hasn't really been much since. Been pretty decent. And then you do bullpen games out of Aaron Bummer, Dylan Lee occasionally. And it's just one of those things. But everyone wants to shit on Bryce Elder. And it's like they were talking about, it's like it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's you got Spencer Strider and then everybody else. And I'm like, people seem to forget. And I tweeted this out earlier today, and I sent it on Facebook and everything like that. So if you want to hit it up and get your reaction to that, or if you want to see that, it's on X, at Guathny Chat on X. I talked about how just 2 years ago, this was 2023, okay? The Braves are hitting well. People are hitting home runs. You have the situation where, I mean, literally, Matt Olson's one of the best players in baseball. And you have Max Fried go out. You have Kyle Wright go out. And for a solid 3 months, Spencer Strider was like 12-5. Bryce Elder was 8-2 in those 3 months. Then by the time Max Fried comes back on August 3rd, you have, again, Spencer Strider, Bryce Elder. You did have Charlie Morton at the time, who was 10-9. But Bryce Elder, 8-2, an all-star, okay, pitching really well for the Braves just 2 years ago. Now this year, yes, you can say it all you want. The slander is there. He's 4-7. He's got a 6.29 ERA. He's had some really, really good games, and he's had some really, really crappy games. But if he goes 5-6 innings, he gives up 3, gives up 2, gives up 1. There's no reason for this lineup in the Atlanta Braves to be as crappy and awful as they have been. Because that's pointing to the hitting coach. That's bad base running. Even last night, you had to score 10 runs to try to win. Because Rafael Montero tried to blow the game for you. Dylan Lee he walked out there, threw a pitch, and gave up a friggin' home run. So, any of these pitchers, even Spencer Strider's been pretty bad. He gave up like 2 or 3 last night. So, even as good as Spencer Strider's been, coming off the injury, all those types of things, those first 2 years, he was the fastest pitcher to like 200 strikeouts. He kept breaking records. He kept doing all these things. But if you, it's like Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens can go out there for multiple appearances, not get any run support whatsoever, and not be able to get a win. And he can pitch spectacular. Bryce Elder, Spencer Strider can do the same thing. Give up 3 runs because it's the year. I mean, it's the DH. The DH and being able to hit the ball more effectively now, and analytics, as much as you want to talk about it, there's a lot of analytics that are going to baseball. There's a lot of, you can see it in the minor leagues. Guys are looking at tablets. Guys are looking at sheets of paper that they're writing down, and they're saying, okay, this guy did this inning. They're going to do this. He's known to do this, blah, 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 blah. So you, over time, you get used to these pitchers. Over time, you get used to these batters. But it seems like the Atlanta Braves can't figure it out when it comes to batting. You'll have a really good night last night, and then right now you're down 4-0, and it's only the bottom of the 5th. So this right now, everyone's going to shit on Eric Fetty. Oh, why did the Braves get him? Blah, blah, blah. To eat up innings. So if guys come back, maybe healthy, so he can eat up innings and you don't have to go straight to the bullpen because, you know, Aaron Bummer or De Los Santos or, I mean, they just brought Daysball Hernandez back. But, if they throw out who's like, oh, Montero's been one of the best. Not in the last, 3 starts, he hasn't. Dylan Lee, the same thing. Pierce Johnson has some bad nights. You can't trust this bullpen. You can't even trust Iglesias. He blew the game against the Rangers. So I'm tired of the Bryce Elder slander. It's very much warranted this year. He's up and down. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. But any of these pitchers can look this bad. Any of these pitchers. I mean, Spencer Strider's 5-8 with a 3.71 ERA. Okay? Like, the whip from a lot of these players isn't that bad either. So, the problem is, you can give up 1, 2, 3 runs a game. But the bats have to come alive. Then, the bullpen has to close it down. Because if you go at least 5 or 6 innings and you give up 3 runs, in this new age of baseball, that's damn pretty good. Not everyone's just going to be out there and be flawless. Not everyone's out there throwing no-hitters. Not everyone's out there throwing complete games. Because they're asking you to throw it as hard as you can in this new age of baseball. And that's the reason why a lot of these guys are getting hurt and having to have Tommy John surgery. So, people seem to forget that just 2 years ago, Bryce Elder was an all-star, had an 8-2 record, okay, and was the second guy, just like he is now. So it is, right now, Spencer Strider, Bryce Elder, and everybody else. They just picked up Carlos Carrasco, who they talked about the Braves trying to get earlier in this, before the season started. And then now you basically had to give him up for a bag of potato chips and cash consideration. Shout out to Cash Considerations, one of my most favorite players ever. So, I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, it's Bryce Elder's fault they lost the game. It's Spencer Strider's fault they lost the game. Right now, it's Eric Fetty's fault they lost the game. Fuck no. You should be doing better. At least be 4-2 right now. How are you not scoring runs? How do you go from scoring so many runs one night and then just a total flop the next night? That's the Atlanta Braves. Winning one game out of 6. Winning one game in a 3-game series, then going and getting swept by the Texas Rangers, and then going on the road playing the Kansas City Royals right now, and you could probably maybe lose this game. Then play the rubber match tomorrow and probably end up losing that game too. Shout out to Cash. For real. In every sport. He seems to be the best athlete in every sport. Or a player to be named later, right? That seems to be the thing. That's like the common occurrence in basketball. It's like, oh, well, we'll trade you one of our really good players, and we'll get a player to be named later or a draft pick to be named later. Like, basketball doesn't make sense to me. They'll do like these 4-way trades. They'll trade a coach. They'll trade like their best player for like 2 scrubs and a ham sandwich. Ham sandwich sounds good right now. And they would like trade for like future draft picks plus cash and a player to be named later. So shout out to cash considerations. The Braves are 15 games under 500. They're not turning it around. I can just say that right now. I'm not believing that they're turning around. I'm paying $20 a month to watch them suck on FanDuel. And it just seems like every single night that if I'm late to turning the game on, it's the first friggin' inning and you've already gave up a home run. It's the second inning and you're already down 4-0. So is that the bullpen's fault? Is that the starting rotation fault? Is that the batting fault? Is that the batter's fault? Because it's really frustrating to sit here and watch, even if it was Chris Sale, even if it was AJ Smith-Shawver, even if Jirax and Profar hadn't cheated and took steroids or whatever growth hormones he took, I don't think they would be 15 games under 500, but they sure as hell would be 6 or 7. Because they still can't even fucking figure it out with the team they have now. You have still a great lineup. And even with Austin Riley out, Nacho Alvarez played pretty well defensively and hitting the ball. Almost jacked one against, I think it was the Yankees. So, I don't know. It's so frustrating to sit here and watch this. Just think what you could pay $20 a month to watch one suck on another website. Exactly. You could pay $20 a month to watch the Total Chad Sports Podcast. No one's going to do that. Who in their right mind would do that? I thought about canceling the subscription and just going and watching the Angels on FanDuel. But the Angels suck. But at least I can watch a lot of former Trash Pandas. Like last night, everyone shitting on Gustavo Campero, transitioning over, because I'm done talking about the Braves. Transitioning over to the Rocket City Trash Pandas. You had 5 Trash Pandas last night get in the game. You had Quinata, you had Kohanowitz, you had Logan O'Hoppe, you had Zach Neto, and you had Gustavo Campero. You had 5 Nolan Scanuel, because I said Gustavo. You had Nolan Scanuel. Scanuel, whatever you want to say his last name. It's Scanuel. You literally, because it's just like, it's not Bijan, it's Bijan Robinson. If you've listened enough of radio broadcasts and watch enough of the Falcons, you don't have to be some snobby media person that was like, I told you so. I told you so. I knew the whole time. No, you didn't. Because you were saying the same word. Or if you watch ball and you know ball, then you know how to say their names. But last night, 5 Trash Pandas helped in some sort of way get a 6-4 victory over the Texas Rangers. And Gustavo Campero, he had a really, really bad error that scored 2 runs. But then came around, got a really good hit, and then I think it was Neto that knocked him in. And then he gets a run, goes 2 for 3, gets 2 hits, strikes out once. And then you have 2 pitchers who, one was I saw him a week ago, 2 weeks ago, play against the Klingstones. They call him up. He's in there in a little bit of short time, goes in there for not even a third of an inning, but goes in there for relief, but gets the opportunity, does what he's supposed to do. Kohanowitz pitched a great game too. Gave up 1 run. And they had 2 unearned runs because of that error by Gustavo Campero. Granted, he's batting like 116. He's not batting great, so he could be back at Salt Lake. Realistically, Gustavo Campero could be back in Double-A. He could be back with the Trash Pandas if he keeps hitting terrible like this. But they need bodies. Kyron Paris isn't there. Christian Moore's not there. But granted, Christian Moore and Kyron Paris play infield. It just seems like they need bodies. And so, looking at them, excited for what they're able to do. It's really awesome when you can sit at a bar and you go, well, damn, I just watched them play down the street a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I mean, J.R. Ritchie's pitching amazing for the Stripers right now. He got called up to the Futures game, and they go to the All-Star break, and then he gets called up to the Stripers the week that the Trash Pandas played the Clingstones. So you don't get to see J.R. Ritchie, who he's like 20, 21 years old. And you had a really good outing by Didier Fuentes a couple of days ago. And all of the comments were all about Mark Bowman. Oh, this is great content for Mark Bowman. How do you feel now, Mark Bowman? Blah, blah, blah. Because everything he's been doing, he's been tweeting about how this guy's 20 years old. He's been broken, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't think he knows how to play baseball. All these kind of like weird, he's like nonchalant trying to like make a joke, but it's just annoying. It's like one of those, like, it's a joke that's not funny, but it's apparently funny to him. So, like, it's just frustrating to watch, young people, like, especially young players like that struggle. I mean, look at Dylan Dodd. He's a really young player. Dylan Dodd was supposed to be a starter, and now he's in relief. Okay? And even Dylan Dodd at 27 years old, he's like one of those players that he's still kind of, he's really kind of a rookie like a couple of years ago. Like, he's not a guy that now it's like you don't trust him to go out there and be the starter. You try to go out there and do bullpen work, and he's bad. So, doesn't matter if you're 20, doesn't matter if you're 27, doesn't matter if you're Eric Fetty and you're 32 years old and I heard this on the broadcast, the Braves broadcast. This dude went to Korea and basically won the Cy Young version in Korea. Then came back, was on 2 different teams, and then now he's on the Braves. So, Trash Pandas, keep rocking it out. Keep sending guys to the bigs. Right now, they're sitting at 10-17. They're playing the Barons right now. Tomorrow is Dog Night. Tomorrow's Dog Night. Throwback Thursday. On Thursday, you got the cool space jersey, the Space Night jersey that they're going to have. Of course, Friday and Saturday are always fireworks nights. Kids run the bases on Saturday. Or no, so that's Sunday. Dinosaur night. Dinosaur weekend on Saturday. Players run the base, or kids run the bases, player autographs. Usually the player autographs are on Sunday. But you see this one right here? You see this one for Wednesday? Dog Night. You know who's ready for Dog Night. You know who's ready for Dog Night. Lady Bird. Lady Bird's ready for Dog Night. So we're going to have pictures. We might even do a little video showing Lady Bird at Dog Night. The Greater Humane Society will be there. So all the donations will go to the Greater Humane Society. You kind of have to sign a waiver. And then if you have money, you can throw $1, you can throw $5, you can throw $20, you can throw $100. So there's going to be that going on. We're going to have her at the booth so everybody can see the pretty Lady Bird. Dude, the dinosaurs are going to chase the kids. Like, they're going to have live dinosaurs chase the kids around the bases. There was one, I think it was the Clingstones. They need to start doing it more. They had adults run the bases. All right. Forget these kids. All right. Let the adults run the bases. Get them good and drunk too. Get them good and drunk and do like a competition. Whoever can make it around for, like, you have a guy at second, like, like beat the freeze. You know what I mean? Like beat the fridge or beat the freeze or all those types of things. How about beat the drunk? Put like 2 big guys, drunk as hell, one on second, one at home, and see who wins. See who makes it to second first, who makes it home first. And then if they win, they get a free beer, or they get a free hot dog, or they get a rally towel, or they get something. Make it entertaining at the end. Do it while the fireworks are going on. I'd watch that. I wish they would do more. They do the they do the astronaut race, which is probably the coolest thing ever. They did it at Truist Park for the All-Star weekend. Because like the Braves do the Home Depot tool race, and the astronaut race is just iconic to me. I mean, it's just one of those things. Rocket City, you know what I mean? You have Buzz, Mae Jemison, Sally Ride, okay, and you've got Neil Armstrong. I know all four of them because I grew up in the Rocket City. I grew up with my grandfather working 40 plus years for NASA. Even when he retired, he was still working for NASA. I got to go to Houston and meet all of his NASA buddies and meet people that I've never met in my entire life. But they see him, they immediately start talking to him like they hadn't seen him in a day or 3 hours ago. Yes, blood alcohol content 0.08 minimum to run the bases. But I would love for them to do like a competition where someone races somebody. Like, I think it would be fun for the fans there. They're doing something in right center. I don't know what they're completing or whatever. I don't think that's the other locker room or whatever they're supposed to be building or whatever. So I don't know what they're doing. But if they had just listened to me like I originally said and quit putting like gravel, dirt. It's basically like a warning track in right center field. If they had just put like benches, put like bar seating around every area that they have the little bar table and give people an opportunity to just kind of sit down in the outfield. They should put seats along the bullpen and let people sit there. The general admission people sit there. There's a lot of things. There needs to be a left field lounge. I've said this many times. You have this random, and I get it, it helps people get up and down, and they don't have to go all the way around. So if they parked in the back, they can at least get their wheelchair up, or if they have a walker or something like that, it helps people get up and down so they don't have to go up the stairs. But if you just turn that into like a left field lounge, and it's not just this big-ass brick elevator, it would be so much cooler. You could have a rowdy crowd. Now, they do have like along the third baseline, they do have like a lounge, like a pavilion, in the stands. But that's not in the outfield. You don't have I want it to look like St. Louis. I want it to look like Chicago, where you got the bleacher seating on top of a building, and you got some crazy rowdy fans waiting for a home run to get hit over there. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of ideas that they could easily ask me to do. There's a lot of things that I sit here and I spout out facts and all these other things that even the voice of their own place doesn't do. A lot of the media does not talk about them. They shoot 5 minutes of the game and then they walk away, and then they give you, the Trash Pandas won this. And all they do is regurgitate what was on the stat list. I'm not a media person, but yet I still get all the media information about the Trash Pandas. I probably shouldn't have said that. I probably won't get it anymore. It's all right. They're not listening anyway. So, there is so much that they could do. They had a Margaritaville night where they had it was a margarita tropical shirt, and it had Trash Pandas across the thing, and it had red parrots on it. And the original plans for center field, they have this big ass, it looks like a green monster in center field, and it doesn't have anything on it. It'd be cool if that was like the scoreboard, or if that had something on it that lit up or something. But they have this random square in the middle of center field that just blocks an open gravel parking lot that originally was supposed to be a hotel, a Margaritaville. There was supposed to be a lazy river. And I'm like, all the running jokes, and including me, we're like, oh, well, we're going to do Margaritaville night. Well, where the hell's the bar? Where the hell's the lazy river you promised? They could not put a hotel. They put a hotel over to the left, which you can see now. If you have some pretty good, like if you have some like third level or second level seats, or I mean, hotel, you can see the game from there, but it's further back. And if they tried to put it, because they put a restaurant there now to left center, if they tried to put a hotel, Margaritaville, Lazy River, all those things like that, they would lose so many parking spots. And they try to do like a big fair during that time. And the fairgrounds takes a lot of that gravel parking lot up. Coach, podcaster, and baseball stadium architect. I'm not some piece of shit that came in and said, we're going to have a baseball team in 3 years and I'm going to be deucing out after the 4th year. I made my money. See ya. Have fun, Huntsville, or have fun, Madison. Pay for that. They still haven't even finished the ramp to get from one side of the game to the other. They only have the exit ramp. It's still a cluster at 6 o'clock. If you're coming home and you get home and you're like, well, I'm going to go to the game at 6:35. You try to go and turn in the only area that you can turn into the game. Really, there's like 2 areas you can turn into the game. But one of the main bad areas to try to get into the game, depending on if it's a Friday night. Now, Tuesday, Wednesday is not so bad because there's not hardly anybody there. Unless it's like a free giveaway night, bobblehead or whatever. But like Friday, Saturday night, it can be a hassle trying to get in because there's really only 2 ways to get in. And it's 6 o'clock afternoon traffic. And that area of town is continuing to grow, and they still have 2-lane roads and think that's going to work. So, trust me, there's a lot of things they could ask me, I could help them with, but it falls on deaf ears. They obviously don't care about what the fans want and what I've heard people talk about. But it is what it is. They're 10-17. They're the worst team in the Southern League North. They're the worst team by 1 game in the second half of the season to the Montgomery Biscuits. Pensacola's leading the Southern League South with a 16-10 record. Birmingham, the Barons, they're playing them tonight. And for the rest of this week, they're 19-8 in the second half and playing really hot baseball right now. You'd think people would want to move to Guntersville. It's only 38 miles. Because it's a chauvinist. That's the thing. There's a lot of chauvinistic pig attitudes that Clinton's got that they just don't want to listen. And I'm not saying, we've said this many times, we don't know it all. It's all opinionated based on this show. But we try to throw facts on what's going on in the game. We try to spotlight the players that are getting called up. We try to spotlight the players that are doing well right now. So, let's see here. We're looking at the schedule. You got Birmingham the rest of this week. And then you're going to round out July. You got August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Of course, Friday night, Space Night, and Friday night fireworks. Dinosaur Weekend on Saturday and Sunday. But then there's also the autograph session, which is mostly on the Saturdays. Then they go away and play the Clingstones. They come back and play the Knoxville Smokies, which them and Chattanooga have been a problem. And they're sitting at 2-3 right there, too. They go away to Birmingham. Then at the end of the month, they come back and play the Clingstones. And you know I'm going to be there. I'm probably going to be there for Japanese Heritage Night on the 27th because that'll also be dog night. Like tonight is ladies' night. I did a podcast instead of going to ladies' night, okay? You guys are lucky that I decided to do a podcast tonight instead of going to ladies' night because it's Tuesday night, ladies' night, okay? Think they like give wine glasses away, all these types of things to the female fans. They got a Throwback Thursday, of course, on that Thursday. Ooh, they got a beer stein giveaway against Knoxville on the 14th. We're definitely going to go to North Alabama College's night. That's on the 13th of August, and that will be also dog night as well. So the Bird, we're going to a couple of dog night games this month. Or not. But tomorrow is supposed to be absolutely hot. We're going to try to get there like at 5:30, and I'm going to hang out under an awning, and we're going to be in the shade, and we're going to bring tons of water. And if it gets too hot, we're leaving at 7. Like, because what's going to happen with her is she's going to get so tired, she's going to get so hot, and she's going to want to leave. She's like a child. This is a hairy child right here. She will get so pissed off and be like, Dad, take me home. But shout out, like, seriously, I will always be down to go watch some baseball. But sometimes it's just too hot, especially for her. And Jax Grosjean, like, he gave her a chewed up ball or a messed up ball last time, and I talked to him. He's one of the catchers in the bullpen. I talked to him at the last game at home. He remembered Lady Bird. He was happy that he gave it to her. Because, you know, you constantly get kids all the time. Can I get a ball? Can I get a ball? Can I get a ball? But she gets so into it when they throw a pitch. And she loves watching the ball go back and forth. And last time, she absolutely lost her shit watching them sparking, all these things. I had to take her away. And then we come back and he's like, hey, here, give this ball to her. So I'm going to try to get him to sign that ball and have it somewhere for Lady Bird. Maybe she'll get another ball. Maybe because we like to stand in the outfield. And they'll hit home runs in the outfield. And last time they hit one, I about got pulled off of the leash because she tried to go get the home run ball that went off. I should have just left her off the leash and let her steal it from a child. But then I would be like that old guy that's just a jerk that's like elbowing kids to try to get the ball, right? But I'm just letting my dog off to go get the ball. So we've done a pretty good job of going to games and coming away with a baseball at the end of the day. All right, so that's enough baseball talk because we're going to move on to some football. Arch Manning madness. This is an article by Daniel Oyafusi. I don't know if I pronounced his last name right. I'm sorry. But the Cleveland Browns co-owner Jimmy Haslam on Tuesday dismissed speculation that he is eyeing Texas quarterback Arch Manning in the 2026 NFL Draft. Haslam is a Tennessee alumnus who has been a strong relationship with the Manning family, including Peyton Manning, Arch's uncle. The Browns have 2 first-round picks in next year's draft when Arches will be eligible. Haslam was asked about the speculation on Tuesday. I think if you know the Manning family, I would bet that, and I don't know Arch at all. I would bet that he stays in college 2 years, Haslam said, so I don't really think that's worth discussing. I also don't think that he's worth a first-round pick. If he's the guy, why couldn't he beat out Quentin Ewers? If he's the guy, why did it take an injury for him to be the starting quarterback? And he had flashes. But he also did a lot of it with his legs. So it's kind of like with the Shadur Sanders situation. If you have Shadur Sanders there, why isn't he the guy? Dylan Gabriel, why isn't he the guy? They're going to get beat out by Joe Flacco. Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in the next some odd years? Will they go after Arch Manning? Because it seems like they're drafting quarterbacks left and right and they still can't figure it out. So there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of knowing the person across from you, all those types of things. We don't know. And another thing we wanted to talk about as we're talking more really NFL football. Of course, you had the situation, I guess it was just yesterday, with the shooting in New York City, where a New York shooter targeted NFL headquarters and he claimed to have CTE. So the gunman who killed 4 people at a Manhattan office building before killing himself was trying to target the headquarters of the NFL, but took the wrong elevator. So wrong place at the wrong time, and that sucks. Because it's really not the wrong place at the wrong time. It was like you were doing your job, and some dude that claims to said he had CTE, and he wanted his brain looked at, and he never played NFL football, but he played, I guess, some high school football or something, and he was a casino worker, and he went in and he started shooting people. You had the guy at the Walmart that was over there stabbing people. That has nothing to do with CTE, but just the craziness that we go through. Just hug your loved ones and just know that, like, you could just go out, be doing whatever. An off-duty police officer, Didarul Islam, he was killed, and he was off duty. This guy played high school football roughly a decade ago, but never in the NFL. Had a history of mental illness. And that's the thing that people always talk about with school shootings, and that's what I deal with on a daily basis. I got kids all the time that claim that they have mental illness, they have really bad anxiety, they have really bad depression. A lot of them want to, like, hurt themselves or harm themselves. You have situations where, like, earlier, this year, you'll have people say things or tweet out things or Snapchat things, and then it goes off the haywire and people go crazy. And then there's all this speculation, right? And a lot of people don't understand. It's like, it's not a gun problem. It's obviously people that have mental illness, but they do have a situation where they do end up obtaining a gun and they go out and take it on upon somebody. And whether they had a permit, whether they had whatever, this isn't a Second Amendment right rant. This isn't a political rant. This is a mental ill person. Because a lot of times the media will drive, especially this situation, to being some kind of racial thing or some kind of political thing or whatever. But if this guy was truly mentally ill, this guy was truly going through certain things, he had a note that said, in a note, Tammer repeatedly said he was sorry and asked that his brain to be studied for CTE. According to the police department, the note also referenced former NFL player Terry Long, who was diagnosed with CTE, and the manner of which Long killed himself in 2005. The note accused of the NFL of concealing dangers to players' brain for profit. League of Denial. That was a PBS documentary, but it's also a really good book that talks about that. So he obviously may have possibly read or watched the PBS documentary about concussions in the NFL and about how, like, it kind of needed to be brought up a little bit more. And the problems with it. And Fainaru brothers, and apparent reference to NFL ESPN reporters Mark Fainaru Wada and Steve Fainaru, who wrote a book released alongside. Yeah, that was the book, League of Denial. It also mentioned several prominent doctors who have studied concussions. And there was like a lot of what that book was about was like getting doctors' perspectives on that situation. The NFL long denied the link between football and CTE, but it acknowledged in connection in 2000 testimony before Congress and has paid more than $1.4 billion to retired players to settle concussion-related claims. And they should continue to do that. But it never should get to this point where somebody has to start something or shoot a bunch of people to create some kind of awareness on this whole situation. It starts with how safe can you make the game. Then it goes, does it turn into flag football? Then it goes into, well, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, it had nothing to do with this whole CTE situation. We were talking about how I had a friend that wants his 8-year-old son says he wants to play football. I said, okay, go play flag. Do not try to joggle that brain, rattle that brain at such a young age that by the time he's in 8th, 9th, 10th grade, he's already had 3 concussions. If he goes and plays in 8th grade, has a concussion, he's cleared, he seems like he's all right. Younger people seem to heal a lot better, obviously, than older. I'm not a 37U player out there trying to get my bell rung, thinking that I'm reliving the glory days, and then 10 years later I have CTE because I chose to play football at an older age. Because really, the older you get, it's even worse. And really, the younger you play, it's even worse. So there's really that span. That's the reason why like guys are retiring by the time they're 30 or 35, because it's not like baseball where it's like you can play till you're 40-something years old and not really have that issue. But in football, it is an issue. It is a problem. You have I got concussed when I was in wrestling. I had my head slammed a couple times. I got knocked the hell out when I was a freshman. That probably should have been the end of my days for football. But I was such a young age that I kind of bounced back. I haven't had any issues that I know of, and there hasn't been anything that has made me... I already forget things as it is as my old age, but it's not like there's something that the doctor has seen. There's not something that has been something that, you know, is something I need to go look at or I need to get checked or whatever. Like, it doesn't seem like that. But it's also one of those things where it's like you kind of have to hope that if you're going to do these things, you're going to play football or whatever, do it at the right age and be taught the correct way. You can be the greatest. You can be one of the best high school football coaches ever. But if you're not teaching kids to tackle the right way, and kids throwing their head down, kids trying to throw their head at a player, I mean, just try to go in there without any kind of technique at all, it's not getting taught. And the thing about it is, we said earlier, the NFL's not in pads all the time. They only have so many practices that they can even do in pads. They'll go do a joint practice, which the Falcons are going to do, you know, later in training camp, that it's a padded practice. But a lot of times, other than like if they go live, the live is not as long as just doing drills with the guys or whatever. And the guys that are constantly butting heads and being the battering rams are the linemen or the running backs, the linebackers, most of the defense. Because they're actually having to make the tackles. The running back's trying to break the tackles. He's trying to truck somebody or juke somebody or whatever. The linemen constantly battering rams, headbutting each other, getting underneath each other's pads, hitting each other in the face mask, bumping uglies, doing all these things. Not really bumping uglies. That was a little weird. That sounded like some Christian Wilkes stuff. That sounded like some kiss on top of the head things. But Big Ugly's going, that's what I was trying to say. Big Ugly's going, these gargantuans, like in Waterboy, because you can't make a Waterboy 2. These gargantuans playing foosball, trying to hurt each other. It's just, that's what it is. It's football. So, I'm obviously really sad for the 4 people that were killed. And the people that were stabbed and hurt in this situation that happened in Wisconsin as well. It's just like I said, you could go anywhere in the world. You could go out shopping. You could go walk the dog. You could go do certain things. You could go to a football game. You could go somewhere. And it just seems like there's a lot of crazy people out there. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to do hurt for no reason. Or they're trying to create some kind of awareness, or they have some kind of mental illness where they're doing this and it can't be controlled until they're put down or they're subdued or whatever. And it just sucks. It sucks to see, because that shouldn't be the way to try to raise the most awareness for what's going on. All right, so let's change to some football, some soccer. We talked about it, which we don't really know what we're doing. We don't really know what we're talking about. We just cover the sport from afar and still do more than the people that actually claim to sit here and talk about sports, especially local sports. But Huntsville City FC gets the dub against Orlando City B. They beat them 4-0. They moved up in their conference. They're 8th overall right now. In their conference, they are 5th. We talked about Chicago Fire. They beat the Red Bulls, who are the number 1 team. They pulled and tied. They're tied right now with Chattanooga at 3rd with 33 points. Huntsville is right behind them with 32. You got the New England Revolution, who play Atlanta on the 30th. So if New England gets a win, they could jump them and be tied with Chicago and Chattanooga, depending on what they do. They're also down 2 games to Chicago being played. They're 3 games down to Chattanooga played. Huntsville City is at 17 games right now, but there's only 11 games left in the regular season. So you got to win at least half of these games down the stretch if you're going to stay within the top 8 of the Eastern Conference and try to play in the playoffs. Now, granted, you probably want to be that 4th or 5th team. You don't really want to be the 7th and 8th team. You split the series against Orlando City B. You still have a situation to play them, or you still have a game later that you have to go on the road and play them. You play Crown Legacy FC next, who has been really on top of the Eastern Conference for these last couple of years, especially in its short infancy that is HCFC. And they're sitting at 7th and 8th, tied with 7th, really, with Orlando City. FC Cincinnati's right there, too, because I'm sure they have one less game, too, so I'm sure there's maybe a tiebreaker in there somewhere, or goal differential, because right now, Orlando City's goal differential is -11. Okay, Cincinnati's is -4, but you can clearly tell there's got to be some kind of between these three teams. There's got to be some kind of tiebreaker between them. So Huntsville's going up against Crown Legacy next. You got to beat them. You got to still stay on top of what you're at. You get 35 points, you could be sitting at 3rd. You could be sitting at tied for 3rd. But if Chicago Fire, if they win, they could be sitting at 36. Since Chattanooga 36, you'd be on top of the Revolution still. They would be at 33. If they get the win, you obviously can't lose, but you can't keep going for the tie. You can't keep going to PKs. And if you're going to go to PKs, at least get the win, because then you get 2 more points. You get 2 points total. But you want to go for the 3. You want to get the win. But man, Chicago beat the Red Bulls 9-2, and it's going to be anybody's ball game. It seems like from 3rd to 6th could change at any moment. Chattanooga could lose, Huntsville could lose, Chicago could lose, New England could win. Huntsville could win, New England could win, Chattanooga could fall, Chicago could fall. 3 through 6 is going to be really fun to watch for the next couple of weeks, all the way till the end of September. So we'll see. We don't exactly know. Like we said, there's only 11 games left in the regular season. So they've got away next on the 2nd against Crown Legacy. They come back at home. It's School Spirit Night. They play Carolina Core FC, which they're one of the bottom teams. You've got to destroy them. You have got to beat them. Where are they at? They're sitting at 12th. You have got to win that game. Sorry, I didn't want to put that up there yet, because we're going to talk about their schedule in a second too. You've got to win that game. Then you play Inter Miami on the road. You play New York City FC at home. That's luau night. You got Chattanooga. You got to beat Chattanooga, because that'll be a really good game. You've got to beat up Atlanta. You're going to go away and play Atlanta. You're going to go away, play New England again. You're going to go at home and play the Red Bulls. That's throwback night. You got the rubber game against Orlando City B on the road. Then you got Inter Miami. Sorry, Messi won't be there. You got them at home. That's around the world night. All around the world. Is that like a Red Hot Chili Peppers night or something like that? Around the world night. Their jerseys they had for Space Night in the last home game, by the way, against Orlando, they were like orange, like astronauts. I want one. And then they finish out with Carolina Core at the very last game in October on 10/5 at home. And you get I Heart Huntsville Day, which it's a 12 o'clock noon game. That's wild. That's just so crazy. I guess because it's October and they expect it to be cold or something, so they play during the day, because if they play at night, who knows? Some of these September games could be pretty cold. There was a couple of games late in the season that were like, it wasn't hot anymore. As soon as the sun went down, it got a little chilly. Like, it was not fun. So congratulations getting the dub. You pulled within 4th. I'm sorry. You pulled within 5th. Really, you're sitting at possibly 3rd, 4th if you can get the win right here. And these teams lose. And you pole vault over them. And then you're still ahead of New England Revolution if they win. But if they lose, you're really sitting on top of everybody, and you're in third right now. You're in the driver's seat. Because Philadelphia Union, which has always been a problem for HCFC, and the Red Bulls, who played a really stinker of a game against Chicago. But they're 6 games above everybody else, and they're both tied for first. Over here on the West, you got St. Louis City, who's like one of the best teams in the league right now. I mean, if you go look at it in the West, this is kind of like how we watch the standings in the Southern League. A lot of the teams in the South could just be sitting on top of the North, except for Birmingham right now, especially in the first half, where the West isn't very competitive. It's very top-heavy. You got maybe 2 teams that are worth a damn, and you have really 1 team that's worth a damn. They're playing really well at 19 games. They got 43 points. They got 13 wins, 4 losses, and 2 ties. And they got shootout wins. They got 2 of them out of their 2 ties. So they've won both shootout. Over here, you got 11-4 with 4 ties, and you got 2 shootout wins. Huntsville City FC, they got 8 wins, they got 4 losses, but they have 5 ties. And the HCPKs have won 3 of them because they're really good at that. And their goal differential is 16. They have 35 goals for and 19 away. Chattanooga has 30 goals and 29 against with a 1 goal differential. Philadelphia is 42-14, and they're got a 28 goal differential. St. Louis City, who has 43 points, they're just winning games, but they still only have a 16 goal differential. But Philadelphia Union is tied for first in the East because it's more competitive in the East, because you could take 3 through 5, and they'd be sitting at second in the West right now, with much better goal differentials, except for Chattanooga. So we'll see what happens the rest of the season. Yeah, I vote for it too, Steele. We'll see what happens the rest of the season. Congratulations to them. We'll see what happens. Now we're moving on to high school football. We'll give our takes on a lot of these games. This is what happened last year. Of course, we talked about they played A-Rab at the beginning of the season. It was a jamboree game. It's just to kind of fine-tune some things, let the JV play in the second half, let the freshmen play later in the fourth quarter, those types of things. They played lead open the season, and it looked really good. They went 41. They beat them 41-6. Then they play their rival the second week of the season. Really, it was the second week of the season, but it was like week 0 or like it was week 1 or whatever. And they played the second game against their rival and lost 3 points and really should have won that game. Then they go play the 2 Madison schools. They get shellacked. They go play Albertville, beat them pretty good. They go get their crap beat out of them by Gunnersville, who's a really good team, especially when they play at home. They're coming away. Then they played Florence, got beat out. Played Sparkman. They're just bigger than them. They have all this talent. They got dudes being looked at by really top, schools around the country. You have Austin, who's going to be good again. They won in the 7-on-7 that they had. And I'm talking beat everybody handedly. They beat them 52-21, and then they lost to Buckhorn, who's a pretty decent team, still made the playoffs, and they beat them 28-6. Coach Dutton's out, went to Decatur Heritage. You got Coach Preston Judah in, the former Lee offensive coordinator, co-associate head coach. They're playing Lee on the 22nd. Very first game of the year. It's really week 0. They're going to play A-Rab again in a jamboree game. They're going to play the rival at home. Now, this is going to be at John Wilkes Field, or Wilkes Family Field. This will be at Joe Davis Stadium. I don't know. I was trying to say John Wilkes Field. This will be at Wilkes Family Field. This will be at Joe Davis Stadium. This will be at HCFC's home stadium. And they're doing this thing now where, like, some teams will be playing in Milton Frank. Some teams will be playing at Joe Davis. Some teams will be playing at Alabama A&M Stadium. Because guess what? The reason why Alabama A&M has a nice turf field is because all the money that they took from these local high schools and didn't allow them to use the concession stands to generate money, and all of the money that they paid to use these fields was put into their very nice artificial turf stadium. So you're welcome. You're very much welcome. And so thank you for allowing us to play, or allowing some of these schools to play in your, honestly, not that great of a stadium. There's only really one side of the stadium that's nice. But they have a really nice field because all these local high schools put a lot of money into it. But when it comes to putting their own field, their own spot, their own stadium, we can't have that. We have to put a lot of money. The city has to put a lot of money into these public parks or public stadiums to have all these turf fields and these decent, still, here's the thing too. You built all of these at Milton Frank. They built all of these track and field things to have this nice track and field thing in the back of the stadium. But why couldn't you close the stadium in with some seats? Why couldn't you put another scoreboard on the opposite end of the field so you don't have to look one way at this giant screen that is the scoreboard? And really all it is just paneling. It's just the big panel screen. I'm sorry. I want my own home field. There's so many schools that surround this area that get their own fields, that generate their own money, that do all these types of things. But the moment that this city wants to have any competition, it's not allowed. It's not fair because this school doesn't get this. All right, well, stop giving the school that you love so much all the money. Stop giving them the better things before everybody else does. Stop making schools that are not the same classification the same size. Give these kids an opportunity, or give these booster clubs an opportunity to generate their own money. It's not hard. I could be an athletic director, but I don't have the degree. I'm going to try to work on that. I'm going to try to finish that. So maybe one day I can be the athletic director of this place or this city or whatever, or of the school that I'm representing. And I can build something, because that's what all these booster clubs want to do. They want to be able to put the money and invest the time and do all the things to make it an improvement. That's what they want. I was going to sneeze. I think I am. So it's not hard. It's not hard to invest in these kids. And if it gets to the point where NIL's in Alabama, then we're royally fucked. Because it's going to go to their heads. All the schools around us are going to get better. All the schools around us are going to be able to pay these players. And it's like all these schools that really don't, they're already not competitive as it is in the region, in the area. It's going to be an uphill battle, because now you got to deal with the Enterprises, the Auburns, the Hoovers of the world, the Thompsons of the world that have the money to be able to do these types of things, that are trying to make their high schools into IMG of Alabama's. Thompson is the IMG of Alabama. No doubt about it. Hoover is still one of those really good schools. Auburn's pretty good. Enterprise is pretty good. They have a ton of money. They have indoor practice facilities. They have huge practice facilities or huge gymnasiums that are bigger than like half the gym and the cafeteria that the school I go to. So I can sit here and bark and complain and do all these types of things, but it just seems like that's never going to be a thing that's ever going to happen. And it sucks. I wish all of these teams could be able to have big bleachers and brick up the whole area so you can like make it a stadium that nobody can just walk into, and generate your own concession stand money and do all those types of things, and really have it where it's a whole like home field advantage. And I don't think it's ever going to happen. I wish it would, but I just really don't think it is. All right, let's go on this day in history. This is brought to you by so-and-so. Still trying to find a sponsor for that. So let's get to it. All right, in 238, the Roman Senate and Praetorian Guard proclaimed 13-year-old Gordian III as emperor, the youngest ever emperor of a united Rome. And in 1362, Emperor Julianus of Constantinople's school edict prohibited Christian teachers from using pagan literature, which was standard text for classical education at the time. 1628, Avars under Kagan Bayan begin the siege of Constantinople, which fails, preserving the Eastern Roman Empire. 1904, Byzantine city of Thessalonica, or Thessaloniki, is sacked by Saracen pirates led by... There have been so many battles at Thessalonica, that you can call it Thessalonica or Thessaloniki. There have been so many different battles. It's kind of like Paris. There are so many battles in the countryside of like France that it's just like, holy crap. Like, and it's so many, like World War I, World War II, the battles between England and France fighting somebody, Rome fighting somebody. Like, I mean, it's just crazy how that's just been like a graveyard for like all of most of Europe kind of is, because they've had so many different fights and battles and everything in those areas. Battle of Strumaceta Valley. I don't know if that's on History Marsh. In 1014, the Byzantines destroyed the Bulgarian armies. I know that there was the Bulgar Slayer, and they had a lot of battles between the Byzantines and the Bulgarians because they were so close to each other, especially making huge pushes towards Constantinople as well. The Battle of Stiklestad, Norwegian King Olaf II is killed while trying to reclaim the throne, one of the most famous Norwegian battles in 1030. Emperor Go Horikawa, aged only 10 years old, ascends to Christendom throne of Japan in 1221. In 1279, Japan beheads emissaries. Kublai Khan from the Mongol Yuan dynasty are beheaded in Japan. Coronation of James VI, King of Scots at Stirling. In 1566, Great Britain executes Agnes Waterhouse, the first British woman convicted of witchcraft, in Chelmsford, England. King protests plotters in 1579. Spanish King Philip II arrests plotters Antonio Perez and Princess von Eboli. Duke Farnese troops ready for the invasion of England in 1588. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588. The invincible Spanish Armada is sighted approaching England. Several skirmishes follow, forcing the invading fleet to make a long and costly retreat around Scotland and Ireland. Champlain shoots Iroquois chiefs. Samuel D. Champlain in 1609 shoots and kills 2 Iroquois chiefs at Ticonderoga, New York, setting the stage for French Iroquois conflicts for the next 150 years. In 1629, 20 years later, French colonist Samuel D. Champlain surrenders Montreal to British privateers led by David Kirke after the blockade of the colony. Nathaniel Bacon is declared as a rebel for assembling frontiersmen to protect settlers and Native Americans in 1676. First schoolhouse west of Allegheny Mountains, completed in Schonbrunn, Ohio in 1773. The Pittsburgh Gazette, the first newspaper west of the Alleghenies, is published in 1786. Let's see here. Keep going. 1862, American Civil War. Confederate spy Bell Boyd is arrested by Union troops and detained at the old Capitol Prison in Washington, D.C. In 1864, American Civil War, Battle of Macon, Georgia, Stone Man's Raid. In 1864, American Civil War, third and last day of the Battle of the Deep Bottom Run in Virginia. Major Walter Clopton Wingfield patents a portable tennis court in 1874. Boy Scouts formed in 1907. Sir Robert Baden Powell forms the Boy Scouts in England. British fleet leaves Portland and passes through the Strait of Dover in 1914. Austria-Hungary bombs Belgrade in 1914. First transcontinental phone link made between New York City and San Francisco in 1914. Wagner's Grand Slam home run in 1915. Pirates' Honus Wagner at 41 hits a Grand Slam home run. And if you find one of his baseball cards, it's one of the most expensive things in the world. In 1920, Mexican rebel Pancho Villa surrenders. Hitler, National Socialist Workers leader. In 1921, Adolf Hitler becomes leader of the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Cleveland's 125th anniversary. 1921, Cleveland's 125th 25th anniversary celebration. Cy Young, age 54, pitches 2 innings. That doesn't look like, I mean, you look at Cy Young and his haircut, like he doesn't look like a baseball player. But it's like you sit there and try to like dog Cy Young or Honus Wagner and think like these dudes couldn't play baseball, especially at that time. They were like the best of the best, you know what I mean? And if they had all the amenities and all these types of things nowadays, they would be even better now. Like, I don't think a lot, I mean, you couldn't take Aaron Judge, put him in the 20s and be like, he'd be the same player. He wouldn't look like Aaron Judge. The dude looks massive. You know what I mean? He is a massive human being. I don't think he would look like that if he played during the 20s and 15s. 1923, Albert Einstein speaks about pacifism in Berlin. The Communist Party of Germany, KPD, holds struggle day against fascism in Germany in 1923. Steamboat Willie in 1928, test footage for first created Walt Disney's Steamboat Willie featuring Mickey Mouse. Bonnie and Clyde police shootout, 1933, police shootout with Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. Barrow's gang in Iowa leaves one member, Clyde's brother Buck Barrow, dead and one captured. Bonnie and Clyde escape. Japanese troops occupy Peking and Tianjin in 1937. Let's see here. 1942, transport number 12 departs Drancy, France, with 1,001 French Jews sent to Auschwitz concentration camp. 5 survive until the war's end. 1943, Nazis evacuate Holland-Schönberg in Amsterdam. 1943, 1 million inhabitants flee Hamburg. 1944, Allied Air Forces bomb Germany for 6 hours. 1944, MLB Cincinnati Reds Frank McCormick hits a home run off New York Giants Ace Adams in both games of a doubleheader. 1944, U.S. 4th Armored Division occupies Avranches, Normandy. 1947, gas leak explodes in a beauty parlor, killing 10 women in Harrisonburg, Virginia. King George VI opens the 24th Summer Olympic Games at Wembley Stadium in London. That happened in 1948. Fellowship of the Ring, 1954. Publication of the Fellowship of the Ring, the first volume. I'm going to take that and give that to some friends later. 1954, publication of the Fellowship of the Ring and the Lord of the Rings, the first volume of the Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, by George Allen and Unwin in London. Let's see. Patterson TKO's Jackson. Floyd Patterson TKO's Tommy Jackson in the 10th round of the heavyweight boxing fight in 1957. The Tonight Show, Jack Parr's 1957, premieres on NBC. NASA established in 1958. U.S. President Eisenhower signs the law into the National Aeronautics and Space Act of 1958, and that's what gave my grandfather a job for many years and was a chief engineer for NASA for many years. Dylan in a car accident. Bob Dylan is not seriously injured in a car accident in New York City in 1961. Let's see. MLB St. Louis Cardinals. Lou Brock steals his 700th base in 1974. Coup d'etat. 1975 military coup by General Muhammad leads to ousting of Nigerian President Yakubu Gowon. Yankees announced shakeup in 1970, an old timers day. I heard this today on Miller Moulton. They're out of Florida. The New York Yankees announced that Billy Martin will return for like the 80th millionth time as the New York Yankees manager in 1980, and Bob Lemon will become the GM. That happened in 1978 during an old timers game. Let's see here. Cherry Garcia, 1987. Ben & Jerry's ice cream and Jerry Garcia agree on a new flavor. Cherry Garcia featuring cherry ice cream with cherries and fudge flakes. Not a big fan of it, to be honest with you. Gorbachev pushes elections in 1988. Plans to push a plan to elect a Soviet president and parliament in March 1989. Let's see here. Fans heckle Canseco. In 1991, Yankee Stadium fans throw cups and blow up dolls at Jose Canseco. He's actually supposed to come back to the Rocket City, and like there's one game that he's coming back. It's like the Huntsville Stars night or something like that, or throwback night. I think it's that throwback night that he's supposed to show up. They tried to get him to show up before the Stars went away and became the Biloxi Shuckers. He asked for $10,000 to show up. I wonder what they're paying him now. Let's see here. Tommy Lasorda retires in 1996. Princess Diaries. That's a pretty damn good movie. You got to admit, Princess Diaries is a pretty damn good movie. With Julie Andrews, Anne Hathaway, and Gary Marshall. That was in 2001. I watched that movie a handful of times, to be honest with you. See if there's anything fairly new. That flight MH370 disappears, found on the island of Reunion in 2015. Hillary Clinton, nominated in 2016, accepts the Democratic nomination for U.S. president as the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia. Don't over there and give me a sigh. You don't pay rent. You don't have it rough. You sleep all day in air conditioning. I don't need these long sighs from you because I'm trying to finish up the podcast here. And all I hear is wham, wham, wham from the little girl over there because she would like to go outside for the 3rd to 4th time since I've been home. So please let your dad finish, ma'am. Okay? Please? Because I think more people want to see you than they want to see the podcast, to be honest with you. So, ma'am, they can see you right there on the edge. Being a little Miss Psy girl. And giving me... We're going to go. We're going to go. Yeah, you want to go outside? You want Dad to finish and go outside? Oh, snap. Lady Bird's ready to go. All right. Let me finish this up. We'll go to birthdays. Because there ain't nothing else. Suni Lee, though. How about in 2021? Following the bowels withdrawal, she becomes the first Hmong American Olympic champion. She also does gymnastics for Auburn and dominates. All right. Deaths. No, sorry. Birthdays. Birthdays, no deaths. Balbinus, Roman emperor, ruled for 3 months with poopiness. With puppiness? Poopiness? That's got to be boopiness, right? Murdered by the Praetorian Guard at about 60 and 238. And then poopiness. Roman emperor ruled 3 months with Balbinus. Murdered by the Praetorian Guard at about 70 and 238. Rome could not figure it out. About 200 AD to like 500 AD, they kept trying to figure it out. Then they would just fight each other. Then they would get invaded. And then they'd be like, well, we're Eastern Roman Empire. We're Western Roman Empire. We don't really give a shit. Olaf II Haraldsson, King of Norway, dies in the Battle of Stukstad at age 34 or 35 in 1030. Philip I, King of the Franks. He was born in 1052. He died in 1108. He dies at 56. William Wilberforce was born in 1759 and died in 1833. Robert Schumann, a German pianist and composer. He was born in 1810. He died in 1856. Vincent van Gogh. He was born in 1853. He died in 1890. Dies 2 days after shooting himself at the age of 37. Cass Elliot, American pop vocalist, Mamas and the Papas. She was born in 1941. She died in 1974. I don't know who any of these people are. Dorothy Hodgkin, 1910. She died in 1944. Jerome Robbins, American Tony and Academy Award winning theater and ballet choreographer and director, West Side Story, Peter Pan. He was born in 1918. He died in 1998. Tom Schneider, American television and radio interviewer. He was born in 1936. He died in 2007. And it doesn't look like I know too many other ones because I really don't. And plus, the bird would like to go outside. Are you serious right now? What are you doing? Well, we're about to leave. We're almost done because look. Miss Weiner's over here sighing and wants to go out one last time before we finish up and go to bed. So we got to do everything for the bird. Thank you again for helping out the podcast. Thank you again for being there, watching it. Everyone that was a part of it, Rick Shade, Head of Steel, Hale, Kuda, Hark, all the people that were there in spirit watching it from afar, not really commenting. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, everyone that's out there, the Joes of the world. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We're probably going to play a little bit of video games before we go to bed. We got to take the bird out, too. The bird's got to go out. So remember, again, if you want to subscribe on Twitch, $5.99 a month subscription. You can also do it if you have a Twitch Prime. If you have a Amazon Prime, you can get that too for free. You can use it on me. You want to cash out the stream, $ Coach Grizzle, Venmo at Mass Braves. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Straight Flexin', TikToks, all them places, and find the latest content and everything that we're breaking down throughout social media. Remember, we're doing all this to create awareness for the Greater Humane Society in my area, in your area, everywhere in the world that has a Greater Humane Society that helps the dogs and the cats, and also the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and to raise awareness and everything like that that involves all of these families that are dealing with this horrible diseases. And we try to raise awareness, raise money any way we can. But other than that, thank you again for listening to the Total Chat Sports Podcast. I told you we would do under 2 hours. You don't have to sit here and watch this for the next hour, 2.5 hours that you want to do it. Watch it for 15 minutes. Watch it for 20 minutes. Go do the laundry. Go clean up the house. Go do the dishes. Do something. And just have it on the big screen. It's no different than any other podcast, any other video out there. But it's us, it's me. This is everything that we want to express. This is the platform that we are creating. Came here for all the WNBA news. Did you miss it? You did, because we're getting off, buddy. We're getting off because we're going to go watch some WNBA. We're going to try to watch the rest of the Braves game because we haven't checked it since then. But we're out of here. See you later, HD Engineering, because I'll see you in probably a few minutes anyway. Peace, everybody.
I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone.
They might be going to call George Brett out.
Well, he is. He's out.
Yes, sir.
Brett is out. Look at this. Brett is out.
He's steaming mad.
He is out.
Swung. Fly ball deep left center. Grissom on the run. Yes! The Atlanta Braves have given you a championship.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. It's caught on the run. He's going to score. David Wagner has scored. And Auburn is tied the game.
It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! It's good! Van Tippen has won the ball game. Alabama has beaten Auburn.
I'd like for the people to remember me as being a winner, because I ain't never been nothing but a winner.